So, hi everyone. We are now ready with our fourth and last session of our Adobe trainings for now. I'm sure we will see more trainings in next year. Um, Today's agenda, we will be covering lightly the Adobe education, which is divided into three pillars. It is the K-12 segment, higher education, and the nonprofit. We will also touch base on Adobe Substance 3D. Some of you might already know Adobe Substance, but it is quite an expensive product, so it's not sold to that many customers, at least not in Denmark. 3D Substance is a bundle of all Adobe's 3D products, just like you know the Creative Cloud All Apps, which is all the creative products together with Acrobat Pro. Then they have this Substance 3D bundle of all the 3D products as well. We will also take a look into ACMP. I have a few questions from customers on renewals, and perhaps you have any other questions on Marketplace as well. Please just add them in the chat as we go along. And please feel free in this session to just add whatever question you may have on Adobe. I might be able to answer them. It doesn't have to be related to this session. It could be for another session or something else that you have from your customers. Any questions you may have from them as well. Please just share them in the chat and we'll try to answer them, me and my colleagues, as we go along or in the end of our session. At the end of this session, I will also inform you of a very important message from Adobe. And this will be relevant to all of you selling Adobe outside Adobe Marketplace. So let's just get started. So for Adobe Education, it is not everyone that can sell to this segment. There are some requirements from Adobe. And in the first box, you have the requirements when you're selling education outside Marketplace. As you may know, Adobe VIP Education will come to Marketplace in 2024. But right now, you can only sell it as normal VIP agreements. The requirements is that you have to be a certified reseller. You also have to withhold 2 education certifications with Adobe. And you also have to have some kind of evidence that you're actually working with education customers. That might be a copy from your website. It might be a web shop. It has, if you have any marketing materials that you can share, or some certification from other vendors like, for instance, Microsoft. Adobe will come with new requirements for 2024 when Adobe is launching education into Marketplace. And how that will look, I don't know yet, but as soon as we know, we will, of course, share it with you guys. So as I mentioned in the agenda, there are three pillars for education segments. There are the K-12 segments, which is primary schools up to high schools. So in Adobe terms, up to the 12th school year. Then we have higher education, which is universities. It is also schools where you have to give some kind of payment for the education. And then, of course, we have nonprofit. Nonprofit institutions will be able to buy education licenses from Adobe. But starting with the K-12 segments, you have, of course, the normal user licenses as you have for commercial segment as well. A normal license for Creative Cloud All Apps, for all the single apps, for Acrobat, Standard and Pro, and so on. These user licenses are only for faculty and staff. They are not allowed to be shared with the students. If you wish to buy or cover the school and have licenses for the students, we have named user license. This is called a site license from Adobe. This is actually a very, very cheap solution for every school. I don't understand why more schools do not have this license. As you see here, the price is actually 0.41 euro per license per month. So what we have here is a named user license where you actually just have to add all your email addresses for the students into the admin console. You do not have to link the license with the specific student. So you just buy this license, add your user to the admin console, and they will have access to use the full package of Creative Cloud All Apps. Just have to be aware that there are some of the services from Adobe that has been removed from the K-12 segments. As you also can see, the minimum purchase is 300 licenses. That goes if you buy this for one school only. If you are covering a district, meaning a commune or something, and you have several schools that you wish to cover, then the minimum purchase is 2,500 licenses. Another solution is Adobe Shared Device Licenses. This is meant for classrooms. So here you can purchase Adobe licenses for a device and not for a user. So here we also have a minimum purchase. For a school, the minimum purchase will be 25 licenses. For a district, it will be 500 licenses. And here you also see the pricing per month. And this is actually the Adobe list price. So this is not the price that you have to go with. You can go higher or lower. That's of course up to you. What you also get when you buy these solutions from Adobe, you actually get Adobe Express for free. I think it was in session 2, we were covering Adobe Express as well, but this is actually totally free for K-12 students when you buy these licenses. Higher education, as I mentioned, universities and also schools where you need some kind of payment to be a student. Here we have named user licensing. This can be shared with your students and also faculty and staff. And they are, of course, allowed to use these licenses on their own device. Then we have a student license pack. This is the cheapest way to give a license to a student if they aren't buying it themselves from adobe.com. And these are named user licenses, so you have to link the license to the specific student here. For higher education, we also have shared device licenses. For higher education, there are no limit or any threshold in order to make these purchases, as you had on K-12, where the minimum purchase was 25 licenses. Here you can buy 5, 10, 200, whatever you would need. And again, this is of course covering a PC or device and not a specific student. With the higher education licenses, you will also get Adobe Express for free for the students and the faculty. But what you will also get is Adobe Substance. And Adobe Substance is what we will be covering in the next slides, what is these 3D products actually meant for. Any questions for now on education for K-12 or higher education? It doesn't seem like it. So let's just continue then. Then we have a nonprofit. Often I'm talking to partners that tells me that this customer has been qualified with Microsoft as a non-profit customer. That doesn't mean it is a non-profit customer with Adobe. If you are in any doubt, please look at the Adobe website for non-profit. And if you still do not know if they are allowed, please reach out to us and we'll figure it out together with Adobe. Those are the one who knows best, I would say, if they are allowed or not. For these nonprofit, as they are purchasing licenses through the education program, they will actually also get access to Adobe Express. And this might be important to them as Adobe Express is way more, it's not that expensive as the full package of Creative Cloud All Apps. So if they only need to edit some light marketing material or something like that, they may only need Adobe Express. So a look at Adobe Substance. We will not take any deep dive into how these product actually works, but it's just an overall view of the products that are in here in the Substance package from Adobe. Cool. Just need to have my screen working here again. So the first one we have is the Adobe Substance 3D Modeler. This is for the sculpting of 3D models, which you can do on the desktop and also using VR. Then we have Adobe Substance Designer. This is for creating parametrical 3D assets for your projects. We have Stager. Here you can compose and you can render the 3D scenes on the desktop, meaning that you can add lighting, shadows, and so on. You don't have to be there on site in order to do these things. You can just do it behind your desktop. Then we have Adobe 3D Sampler. Here you can transform any photo of your own into 3D models and also materials. So you can have a picture of whatever, a wall, a floor, and then you can actually use it with the project that you're having in Substance. We have Adobe Substance Painter. Here you can texture 3D models and meshes in real time. And doing this in real time is quite important because normally texturing would take quite some time. And it is important to customer working with 3D that they can do it quickly and also to save money in the end with having to do marketing for your clients or something like that. Then we have the Substance 3D assets. This is part of the package, but you can also add more assets to your account. Last time we talked about Adobe Stock Library, and Adobe has this library of 3D assets as well. This is actually a growing library, just like the stock library, where you have endless possibilities to make it easier and faster for users to use a certain model, light, or material for the project. And all of these assets are, of course, customizable to fit the project that the customers are working on. So here's just a list of potential customers or segments that will be using Adobe Substance. Of course, there are a lot more, but if you think of someone doing a marketing campaign, they need a certain picture in a magazine, at a bus stop, on the buses, whatnot. Normally, they will spend some time finding the right location, for the scene. They would need to call out a few models that needs to get paid as well. They need a photographer, they need an editor. They need to have the specific product that they are actually showing, if it's shoes or purse or whatnot. And they have to have that produced as well in all the colors that they need to show. But with Substance, they can actually do all of this just behind the desktop. And that is what Substance is all about. And of course, all the other things that they help with as well, creating films and gaming and whatnot. If there are any gamers out there or any film nerds, I'm sure that you have seen some movies or some games that that Substance has been involved in the making of. And on my slide before, I just showed you a few customers and partners that Adobe is working with Substance. And I know these are huge customers, of course, but you also see Autodesk, which is also a competitor to Adobe, but they are also partnering up on the products. So if you might have any customers that you know have Autodesk today, perhaps some of the products that you find in Substance would be suitable for those customers. I've added here a comparison with Autodesk and Substance, where you see which products they could cover, or perhaps it could just be one of the products that would work together with a workflow on Autodesk with these customers. And then I actually think that's the slides. So I won't press the next one because then I'm wishing you all a happy Christmas. But I think I'll go to Marketplace just to show a few things and to be sure that you all know. Let's see here. There it is. Just press one back here. I hope you still see my screen and it is correct. It is. All right, one thing I just want to tell you guys, because we have had a few questions on this. If you wish to renew licenses, then you have to find the product that needs to be renewed. Then you'll go down here on the Renew tab, and here you can change the quantity. If you do not wish to change the quantity, if the customer has 10 licenses and they wish to continue with 10 licenses, then you can see here we have the auto renew button and it is stating renew here. That means that these licenses will automatically be renewed at the anniversary date. And if you need to change it to 8 licenses, you'll just press the renew button and then press 8. And you can do that up till the anniversary date of the agreement. If you have purchased licenses and you have purchased too many and the customer would like to return their licenses. So let's have the same example. You have ordered 10 licenses, then you will have 14 days to create a return. And that will be on the early termination tab. If it is the same product, so here we have the Acrobat Standard, and you have 10 licenses and they only need 8, you will actually have to return all 10 licenses and add a new order for 8 licenses. That's how the return works from Adobe. So these are the specific questions that I have received on Marketplace. So if any of you have any questions related to Marketplace or any of the other webinars, please go ahead and ask them in the chat. I don't have that much more to tell you guys other than this important announcement in the end, but we could cover a few questions if you have any. I don't see anyone writing anything. Please don't hold back. All right. But if you come up with any question, just write them in the chat and I'll just go through the next couple of slides and then we'll actually be done for today. And I'll set you free a bit earlier than you used to in these sessions. So let's just go on. So this is quite important. Adobe VIP Commercial has the end of life in 2025, but already in the mid of 2024, we will see that Adobe is closing down, taking the first steps of closing the program. So I don't have a specific date because Adobe hasn't launched that yet, but here are the warnings. For you guys that are selling Adobe VIP Commercial outside of Marketplace, you have to migrate your agreements into Marketplace. From mid-2024, Adobe will no longer support new VIP contracts, meaning you cannot create new VIP agreements from mid of 2024. So new offers and promotion will not be included going forward in the VIP commercial agreement. It will only be onboarded into Marketplace. As soon as we have the specific date from Adobe, we will of course inform you. By January 31st, 2025, all migration has to be done because from the 1st of February 2024, all new and renewal orders has to be placed within VIP Marketplace. So these are the first warning, and this is actually the first warning that Adobe has come up with. They have just told us that they will be closing the VIP program at some point, but we never had any dates on when this would actually happen. If any of you need any help in order to migrate your agreements, please reach out to us. I would prefer that you send an email to your Adobe teams for them to reach out to you if you need any assistance or you need help with migrating a few or all your agreements to Marketplace. And then we'll of course help you out. The sooner the better, I think. Any questions to this new announcement? It doesn't seem like it. All right. But then I don't think I have anything else to tell you guys today other than we will be sharing the last recording and all the materials that I have been showing, so you will receive all our slides. And until next year, I hope we'll make some new trainings as well, especially for Marketplace. I think we know that this is where it's going. So we will be concentrating on Marketplace and not on the VIP, the normal VIP agreements. So until then, I'll just set you free and wish you all a happy Thursday. And if I do not talk to any of you guys before Christmas, then a happy Christmas and a very happy New Year to all of you guys. I hope you have learned a few things too. Please share these things with your colleagues so you can sell even more Adobe licenses to all your old and new customers. Have a nice day. Bye. Bye-bye, guys.